What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1989 movie Ghostbusters 2. So, this movie is once again directed by Ivan Reitman, and once again written and starring Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and it also stars, once again, Bill Murray, Rick Moranis, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts, and Sigourney Weaver. And in this movie, it's set 5 years after the events of the first one. The Ghostbusters had been sued and put out of business after the destruction they caused during the battle with Gozer at the end of the first movie, and they kind of have gone their separate ways, and stuff. Ray and Winston are kind of doing birthday parties and stuff, and dressed up as the Ghostbusters and stuff, and then Peter has his own little talk show thing where he talks to people who are sidekicks and stuff, and Egon is still doing stuff with science, but they've all kind of gone their own ways, and Ray also owns this bookshop as well too, and they end up getting back together and having to save the city and the world once again from after they discover this ooze stuff that's like pink goo flowing under the city streets and stuff, and they end up getting the judge to pardon them after a couple of ghosts attack them in a courthouse, and they're able to reopen their business, and this goo river thing ends up leading to this museum where Dana Barrett works, and we find out that there's this painting in this museum that's haunted painting of Vigo the Carpathian, who's needing to use Dana's son's body to be reborn, and everything. That's the story of the movie. But I absolutely love Ghostbusters 2. I know this is one of those that I know some people really love it, and a lot of people don't love it. A lot of people don't really like it, say it's a terrible sequel and everything, but I actually felt like it was a lot better than most people say it is. Of course, I have a lot of nostalgia for this one. Probably more nostalgia for this than any other Ghostbusters thing. Like, I loved the animated shows Extreme Ghostbusters and the Real Ghostbusters. I liked those a lot as a kid, and I love the first movie, but this is probably the one that I have the most nostalgia for, because it's the one that I had the most access to as a kid, because I watched it on TV a lot, because they used to play it on one of our local stations on there all the time and everything. But I think the story is just really, really good in here. It has a really fun, interesting story. The dynamic between Peter and Dana is fun to watch throughout the whole movie. They have really great chemistry and stuff, and the visual effects in here are still really good, just like they were in the first one. Maybe a little bit better. There's a lot of cool moments, and Slimer wasn't in here near as much as I remembered him being in it as a kid, but I love the little appearances we see of him throughout the movie, and we see him every now and then munching on something. It's always fun watching him and everything, and I do think that I like the villains in the first movie more, Gozer and Zool and stuff. I like them more in the first one than I do Vigo the Carpathian and whatever the guy is that works at the museum that has a thing for Dana. I can't remember what. Hanzo, I think is his name. I can't remember his name. He gets on my nerves a lot. He was really kind of an annoying character. But once again, I think the cast have excellent chemistry, just like they did in the first one. They all work really well, and I think the comedy in this movie is still some of the best. It has some really funny moments in here, and the big thing at the end of it where they're using the Statue of Liberty to carry them and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool stuff. It was kind of silly, but it was cool too. And I also love like the little homages that this pays to the Blob and stuff, with the Goof stuff going onto the movie theater and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool. And it has some really good moments. This is a really fun sequel, and to me, I think it's just as good, if not better, than the original. I really debate on whether I like this one more than the original or not. Like I said, a huge part of that is probably nostalgia, though, because I grew up with this one more than any other Ghostbusters thing, so that's probably why I would say it. But at the same time, I really do feel that it is a really good movie, and especially comedy sequels, you don't really get them where they work as good, but this one just, to me, it worked really well. And once again, Bill Murray especially steals the show, and some of my favorite scenes in this movie is when he's hanging out with Dana and her baby, and he's talking to the baby, and the little jokes he makes to him and stuff just always cracks me up and stuff, especially the one part when she tells him that his name is Oscar, and he's like, named after a wiener, you poor man. I love that part. But this is, like I said, I absolutely love Ghostbusters 2. I think it's a blast from start to finish, just like the first one, and these are two of my favorite comedies of all time. I think they really go perfectly together, and kind of feel this one's underrated because I know a lot of people don't like it as much. I know it does have has bigger fan base than I probably think it does, because I've noticed a lot more people, especially people that are around my age, watched it a lot more, and that was probably because of it being on TV a lot more and us having more access to it, if that makes sense. But so I'm gonna give it the same rating that I gave the first one, give it a 10 out of 10. I don't know that it necessarily deserves a 10 out of 10, but just out of the entertainment value I find from it and the nostalgia, I just love this movie, so I'm giving it a 10. And everything. So yeah, Ghostbusters 2 is really great. Now, I think it has a really good soundtrack too. Not near as good as the first one, but I did like the songs that were in here and stuff too, especially the On Our Way by Bobby Brown. I thought that was a pretty good song in the movie, but them reusing the original Ghostbusters theme song was awesome as well. I hope they use it in Afterlife, or it's not going to be a Ghostbusters movie if they don't. But I'm really looking forward to Afterlife and everything, but this is a lot of fun and everything. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Ghostbusters 2, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.